Hi, and welcome to Insider Insights. I'm Ted Hunter. I'm the Armor and Conservator for the Arms and Armor Department at the Metropolitan-Museum of Art. I'm here today with my colleagues Sean Belair, Associate Conservator, and Steve Bluto, our Collections Manager. Together, we're going to show you how we dress a mannequin with an armor, in this case, the etched and gilt garniture made in Greenwich, England at the Royal Armor Workshop. Dated 1527, it is the earliest surviving Greenwich armor and believed to have originally belonged to Henry VIII of England. This armor was removed from display and disassembled for photography, so we took the opportunity to update the mannequin a little bit and to study the armor further. Today, we're going to go over some of the elements of the armor, and we'll take you through the reassembly step by step. Not all of the garniture's elements are displayed on the mannequin. A few of them are displayed behind it on the wall. These are what is known as exchange pieces, extra elements that can be added or removed according to the needs of the wearer. A garniture like this one would have had these extra pieces so it could be configured for battlefield use or for different tournament events. This includes this locking gauntlet, which prevents dropping a sword during the tourney combat in a tournament. The outer plates fold around the hand while holding the sword and lock it in place with internal and external closures so it won't accidentally open while in use. We also have the manifer, a special type of gauntlet for the joust, and two reinforcing pieces for the breastplate. We are missing other elements, but we aren't sure how many since no records exist of what the armor was originally equipped with. At the very least, we are missing the grand guard and pass guard, two important elements for the joust. Examples of these elements can be seen across the room on the garniture for George Clifford, the 3rd Earl of Cumberland. The breastplate reinforce hangs over the front of the breastplate to provide additional protection. Here you can see the inside face with the hammer marks and the patina from the forge. The reinforce also has an attached lance rest, which is adjustable using a screwdriver, a feature found only on one other armor, also made in Greenwich for Henry VIII. A lance rest and breastplate reinforce aren't needed for field use or foot combat, so it comes off to save weight. The armor as it now exists is made up of a total of 21 remaining pieces, with a few extra removable plates. The main elements of the armor are laid out here, ready for us to get started. You can see the sabatons, greaves, cuisses, breast and back plates, pauldrons, vambraces, gauntlets, and the helmet, all in order of assembly. The mannequin has been in use a long time, but it fits the armor well, and so rather than making a new one, we've just adapted it with some new fabric and modern foam padding. Starting with the feet, we first attach the sabatons, which are very flexible and worn as a covering over the shoes. The many lames allowed the wearer to move easily and still protect the feet. The sabatons also have attached spurs. This use of small strips of metal or lames riveted together to make flexible joints is a common way of making armor at the time, but this particular armor uses more lames and more complex joints than you would usually find. That flexibility is present here in the knees as well, which are part of the shin guards or greaves. These knees have wide extended wings along the sides of each knee for added protection. The thigh protection, called a cuisse, attaches to the top lame of the knee, making the whole leg defense into one integrated piece. Normally, the wearer would have had on an arming doublet, a padded coat that not only protects the body, but also makes the armor more comfortable to wear. It would have some attached laces, called arming points, that would be used to tie the tops of the cuisses in place, as well as other elements of the armor. Leather straps secure the cuisse to the leg. The torso is protected by a back plate and breastplate. On most armors, these two connect directly to one another, and the weight is carried mostly on the shoulders. On this armor, the back plate would have been attached to a special ventral plate, with a set of internal leather straps to keep the metal shoulder straps off the body. Then the breastplate attaches to the ventral plate using the center bolt. This is designed to better distribute the weight over the body. We aren't using it here because the plate is normally displayed on the wall next to the other exchange pieces, so visitors can see it. This unusual ventral plate is another feature found surviving only on one other armor, again made for Henry VIII and now in the Royal Armoury's collection. The metal shoulder straps lock into place and then there is a hinged clasp on each side of the breastplate, as well as additional posts with swivel hooks. The gorget, or neck defense, is next. Most armors have the gorget under the breast and back plates, but here the gorget rides on top, locking in place with a series of posts with swivel hooks. This armor in particular, and Greenwich-made armors in general, are known for their extra hooks and closures added to provide as much safety and redundancy as possible. The arms are next. Again, like the sabatons, the vambraces are equipped with many lames to provide maximum protection while still providing flexibility and ease of movement. The arm can open and close, bending, and even turn side to side easily. The interface of the vambrace can be opened to make it easier to put on. This vambrace also has a number of smaller plates that can be added or removed, intended to provide extra protection to places like the elbow, as seen here. Like the cuisses, vambraces would tie to the arming doublet with points, but since we're not using the doublet on the mannequin, they just get tied to some eye hooks to hang from. Getting the arms to the right position is important at this stage. Too high or too low, and the armor will look strange. Get it just right, and the entire armor appears more realistic and natural. Next, we hang the pauldrons, or shoulder defenses, over the tops of the vambraces. This protects the shoulder and the armpit, as well as the doublet and points, while still allowing for freedom of movement for the arm. The right side pauldron is slightly cut away in the armpit to make room for the lance. Attaching gauntlets is the trickiest part of dressing the armor. Mannequins don't move like humans, and they certainly don't cooperate for the dressing procedure. The old mannequin's hands are hard to attach, but once in place, the gauntlets will hang naturally and securely. The pauldrons each hang over a single stud with a cotter pin that is secured to the edge of the gorget on each side. This is what lets them move freely in use. Lastly, we secure them with a buckle around the upper arm. Because the armor is intended for use in battle and tournament, it has to be pretty strong, and so we don't always need to handle it with kid gloves like we might if it were fragile. Squeezing the plates and lames to pop posts into holes is the only way to close the armor, and it can seem loud and startling if you aren't used to it. The helmet for this armor is one of my favorite parts. Each of the visor sections has an individual spring catch closure to keep it securely fastened during use. The visor is covered with hundreds of small holes to allow for breathing and for vision and to still protect the face. The user needs to be able to open it, so the catches are easily reached when worn, but there's no risk of the helmet accidentally opening in a fight. The catches click firmly when the visor is lowered. The lower rim of the helmet locks around the top edge of the gorget, and the helmet closes with a spring catch on each side. Once in place, the wearer can turn their head side to side easily for better vision. The helmet is always the last bit we put on. Once that's done, we visually check the armor, making sure everything is in place, properly secured and adjusted. Next, we carefully lift the armor into the case and position it with the assistance of a curator standing outside who can see the whole case and guide the positioning of the armor to capture its best look for our visitors. Another job well done. Finally, here you can see the whole process speeded up. In a mere 60 seconds, you can see the armor fitted to the mannequin from bottom to top. It takes us about 40 minutes to dress an armor, moving carefully and doing only one section at a time. It would have been faster originally, but of course the wearer also needed time to put on the garments that would be worn under the armor, so perhaps 10 to 20 minutes, depending on the complexity of the armor, necessary elements, and the number of assistants at hand. Now that the armor is back on display, we hope we will see you in the gallery soon. So long, and thanks for watching.